It's a chilly and rainy Saturday afternoon here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains of Dahlonega, Georgia. A busy day for softball with a lot of dominating performances sets up what should be an exciting finish to the weekend, and a highly anticipated rematch of the final game yesterday is first up on the docket. It's the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia Nighthawks, taking on Emory and Henry on day 2 of the Gold City Classic. We are so glad to have you all with us today alongside the rest of the Nighthawk Sports Network team. Robert D. Clementi on hand for you this afternoon. Emory and Henry less than 24 hours ago came to the Hill and did something that very few teams are able to do, which was take down North Georgia by the run rule. A 9-0 win for the Wasps in 6 innings was the first time the Nighthawks have been shut out and run ruled at home since 2007. So the Nighthawks are looking to steer the ship back in the right direction today, try to get back into the win column. And Emory and Henry looking to make some history here against the Nighthawks and pick up back-to-back wins over one of the top programs in Division II softball. Should be a fun one here in Dahlonega. Again, glad to have you all with us. And it's Angelina Badalaman getting the start in the circle for the Nighthawks this afternoon against Emory and Henry. She started yesterday's game against the Wasps, got pulled, and then eventually came back around to come back into the game. Badalaman ended up pitching just over 5 innings, 5.2 to be exact, yesterday against Emory and Henry. Delivers the 2-0 upstairs for ball 3. Angelina in total yesterday allowed 4 hits, 4 runs. All those runs were earned. Walked a trio of batters and struck out 3 as well. She does deliver her first strike of the afternoon. Bit of an uncharacteristic performance from Badalaman from what we've been used to seeing from her this season. She's been one of the most dominant pitchers in the early goings of the season here in 2025. This is going to be grounded to Moody, who throws to Brumby at first to get the out. And a good connection there early here for the Nighthawks to put a quick out up on the board on the leadoff batter for Emory and Henry. Wasps lineup is relatively the same as it was yesterday. Williams leading off, and then Danielle King now up to bat in the 2-hole here for the Wasps. This pitch is going to be upstairs, and it's going to be ball 1. Carly Knowles again behind the plate for the Nighthawks, the Peach Belt Conference Freshman of the Week. As it looks like Badalaman's going to get a quick swap of the ball here. A gloomy day here in Dahlonega. It is cold, wet, and rainy out here in the Gold City. This one's going to be outside for ball 2. And there was all kinds of shifting around to the schedule this weekend for the Gold City Classic. Was supposed to start today, ended up starting yesterday afternoon. As Badalaman earns one back with a strike. So we got the first half of the Gold City Classic knocked out of the way yesterday. And then it was up in the air whether the games were going to be played today. It was TBD when the games ended yesterday for day 1. And then eventually we found out that these games were delayed just an hour from when they were originally rescheduled for. Was 12, 2, and 4 the games were supposed to start today. Now 1, 3, and 5 o'clock. North Georgia with the first game and the final game today. This one is going to be fouled. So the count's going to run full. King, a senior out of Spencer, Virginia. Badalament delivers the payoff pitch and delivers strike 3. A hot start here for Badalament. She picks up her first strikeout of the afternoon as the Nighthawks try to pick up a quick 3 up, 3 down. That's going to bring up the second baseman, Street. Abigail Street, the junior out of Glade Spring, Virginia. Yesterday's game, the scoring didn't get started until in the latter stages, as this is going to be just foul, trickling past the left field line to even up the count. Wasn't until the 5th inning that Emory and Henry was able to break through, but they exploded onto the scene after that, putting up 9 runs in the 5th and the 6th. This one again upstairs from Badalament, and with the rainy weather we've had here in Dahlonega, expect to see probably a handful of changed balls as this is going to be popped up into right center field. Street's going to get 2 bases out of it. She will slide in safely. And so the first runner on the bases is up here for Emory and Henry as Street is able to slide into second. We saw some 2-out rallies from the Wasps yesterday. But like we mentioned, the scoring didn't get started until late. So they're going to try to flip the script here. Tofano now up to bat. She grounds this one into right field. That's going to go to Laval Masonette, and the throw home is not going to get there in time. Emory and Henry with a quick run up on the board here in the top of the first. The 2-out rally is alive, and it's a 1-run lead here for the Wasps. And the first pitch that Tofano saw, she let it fly, and it ended up paying off. So that's going to warrant a quick meeting in the circle here with this Nighthawks infield in Badalament. Like we were just talking about, you got to take the weather into consideration here at the Hill. Probably a few slick softballs out there. That's going to be fouled. That was a nice hit, though, from Tofano in right field. Perfectly placed to put the run up on the board. The 0-1 pitch from Angelina. This one is going to sky into right, and it's going to be caught. What a fantastic diving catch there by Laval Masonette. That's going to be out number 3. Emory and Henry leaving the inning with a 1-0 lead as we head to the home half of the first. We'll see if the Nighthawks can respond to that run up on the board. Sydney Reeves is going to lead things off for the Nighthawks when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
No matter how you connect, ETC delivers fast, reliable internet and secure, powerful Wi-Fi choices for your home. For intense gaming, easy sharing, and buffer-free streaming on every device all at once. With local experts ready to help. Connect to faster internet. Connect to awesome Wi-Fi. Connect to now. Call or visit etcnow.com to upgrade your internet today.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
Back with you here in Dahlonega on a chilly Saturday afternoon. Emory and Henry with an early 1-0 lead over the Nighthawks after a base hit from Tofano on the first pitch that she saw to get us to the situation we are in right now. So North Georgia back-to-back games against the Wasps where they are trailing, having to mount a comeback here early. Like we mentioned in that first inning, Emory and Henry didn't score until the 5th. Nighthawks still looking for their first runs up here against the Wasps this weekend. We'll see if that can get started with Sydney Reeves. Wasps did a great job of keeping Reeves at bay yesterday, something very hard to do. Sending Sydney Reeves back to the dugout. She's one of the hardest players in the Peach Belt Conference to keep off base. Finds herself now in a 1-1 count. And getting the start in the circle for Emory and Henry is Mallory Reeves. This is going to be popped between second and first. The throw to first gets away, so Reeves will make it to first base after that throw from Street to Johnson. Looks like it slipped out of the hands of Johnson. And again, like we mentioned, this cold, rainy weather is going to have a little bit of an impact here on the throws and the pitches that we're going to see. So the count's going to be 1-0 for Jenna Miles, the second baseman. Takes ball 2. Miles had 2 plate appearances yesterday, was walked in one of them against Emory and Henry. This one is going to be fouled back towards the top of the net here at the Hill, so it's going to be a 2-1 count. Batting order remains pretty much identical to what we saw yesterday, too, for Coach O'Hare and the Nighthawks. And Reeves going to make a break for it to second, and she will slide in safely. Gets back just to ensure that she touched second. So the speed of Reeves puts a runner in scoring position for Miles, who's also up in the count 3-1 against Reeves in the circle. Mallory Reeves, the junior out of Galax, Virginia, and Grayson County High School. This one's going to be hit into foul territory over there in left, but the Wasps won't be able to make a play, so the count's going to run full. And the payoff pitch. This one sinks back inside for strike 3. So Reeves picking up a nice-looking strikeout there to send Miles back, and that's going to bring Natalie Ray up to bat for the first time this afternoon. This one's going to be outside for ball 1. Mallory Reeves has made 5 appearances here in 2025. She's 3-2 on the season with 31 innings of work. Has walked 6 batters, but has struck out a whopping 24 coming into this game. A .68 ERA. This is going to be hit into right as Natalie Ray rips one into right field, and the Nighthawks are on the board here against Emory and Henry. They tie this game up at 1-1. Ray responsible for the first North Georgia runs here against Emory and Henry this weekend. So the Nighthawk bats have started to come alive. Let's see if they can keep this thing going. Now with Carly Knowles up to bat. This one by Knowles will be fouled. Knowles tied with Sydney Reeves for the most doubles in the Peach Belt Conference this season. Had 3 of those doubles last weekend in the Mizuno Invitational. She had a sensational game against Lake Erie. Went 3 for 3 at the plate with 3 RBIs and a pair of runs scored. Helped lead her to that PBC Freshman of the Week award. This one's going to be hit to third. Throw to first. Gets there on time for out number 2, but it does advance the runner to second here for the Nighthawks. So that's going to bring up Angelina Badalaman here for the Nighthawks, who was busy against Emory and Henry yesterday. We mentioned when she was in the circle to start this game, was also in the batting lineup for the Nighthawks as well, went 2 for 2 at the plate, and was walked as well. This one's going to be down the middle from Reeves for strike 1. This is going to be fouled, it looks like, but Badalaman takes a knee. May have had that foul ball clipped off of her leg. Looks like she was pointing to her knee. So she will try to just walk this one off. The thing with Badalaman is she will always be playing with a smile on her face. No matter what, we just saw her there as she was trying to bounce that one off. A big smile to the dugout. She will be walking back after strike 3 is called, and that is going to be the 3rd out of the inning. North Georgia does tie this one up at 1-1 here in Dahlonega. We're headed to the 2nd. Emory and Henry is going to be up to bat. When we come back, you're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. Transformation and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Today's broadcast of the Nighthawk Sports Network is brought to you by Bryan Properties, the leader in commercial real estate along the Georgia 400 corridor and a proud sponsor of North Georgia Athletics. So we are headed into inning number 2 and a tied ball game here between the Nighthawks and the Wasps. This one is soaring into right. Back at the wall is Laval Masonette to make the grab for out number 1. Tagan had an incredible catch, putting out up on the board for the Nighthawks in the first inning. Second-year player with the Nighthawks. This one from Badalaman's going to be high for a ball. Both Badalaman and Reeves pitching 18 pitches in inning number 1. Delivers the 1-0. This one low. That's going to bring up the DH, Olivia Yates, senior pitcher from Floyd, Virginia, and Floyd County High School. Badalaman takes one back with a strike. Angelina, the leader on this North Georgia team in strikeouts this season. Delivers the 2-1, and this is going to be fouled behind the bullpen over here on the left side of the field. It's going to be a 2-2 count. North Georgia debuting their gray jerseys for the first time here at the Hill. The 2-2 from Badalaman outside. Had the black pinstripes on yesterday. The Wasps with the navy blue and gold that they will be rocking for the final day of the Gold City Classic. This one's going to be clipped and fouled by Yates. So we'll stay put at the full count. Did not see an appearance from Yates in yesterday's game against the Nighthawks. The payoff pitch from Badalaman as she picks up another strikeout for the second out of the inning. So 25 pitches in for Badalaman and a trio of strikeouts here through the first 2 innings. That's going to bring up Kylie Cundiff, junior out of Roanoke, Virginia. One of those utility players for this team as she barrels one into right. A couple Nighthawks in the vicinity, and it's going to be Laval Masonette who makes the grab for out number 3. And so the Nighthawks keep the Wasps off the board in the second. We'll see if the Nighthawks can take their first lead against Emory and Henry this weekend when we come back. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Heading into the home half of the second inning, Caitlin Johnson is going to lead things off here for the Nighthawks in a 1-1 ball game as North Georgia seeks their first lead here against Emory and Henry this weekend. Johnson has been the epitome of consistency this season for the Nighthawks. Has a hit in all but one game this season. That one game came against Emmanuel yesterday in North Georgia's first win of the Gold City Classic. Johnson only had 30 at-bats last season. This is her 27th already. Soars one into left field, but it's going to be fouled. So the count's going to be 1-1. Rain is starting to pick up a bit here in Dahlonega. Got some Brave fans out here. This count's going to be 2-1. Again, the weather was always going to be something to follow this weekend with how on and off the rain was going to be. We'll see how that plays a factor going forward in this game. Counts now 3-1 for Johnson. As she sees the pitch and she sees strike 2. So Reeves is able to work Johnson and do a payoff pitch coming up. And the 3-2 sinks back inside for strike 3. And with the score being at 1-1, it has been a pitching duel between Reeves and Badalaman here in this one. A couple of nice-looking early strikeouts from these two players in the circle. Another strike here from Reeves, this time against Brumby. Brumby smokes one into right, but it's going to be caught for out number 2, this time by Street. So a pair of quick outs are up on the board here in the bottom of the second for the Nighthawks. We saw Emory and Henry mount a 2-out rally. We'll see if North Georgia can have one of their own with Tegan Laval Masonette up to bat. The 0-1 from Reeves. Outside for a ball. This one is grounded into left center field as Laval Masonette makes her way to first. So the inning stays alive here for the Nighthawks. Laval Masonette doing everything early here for North Georgia. Making some big plays out there in right and makes a big play up to bat here to put a runner on first for North Georgia. It's going to bring up the shortstop, Riley Moody. Was responsible for one of the 8 North Georgia hits in yesterday's game against the Wasps. That was a game in which North Georgia out-hit Emory and Henry. Wasps had 6 hits, the Nighthawks with 8, but they weren't able to play to run. This one will stay fair. Throw to first gets there on time for out number 3. And so the Wasps keep the Nighthawks off the board in the second. We're heading to the third, still tied at 1-1 here in Dahlonega. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. as Badalaman delivers a strike. The 0-1 from Angelina. This one does get away, and with a base runner on for Emery and Henry, they will take advantage of that to get to second. Count evens up at 1-1. With the rain we have here, you just got to cross your fingers for both teams that if you have a runner on, hope that that next pitch isn't one that slips away. This one does get away and puts a runner on third now for Emery and Henry. So assistant coach Aaliyah Medina will make her way into the circle here to chat with Badalaman. We can see assistant coach Hannah Forehand there having a couple of cleaned off softballs to the home plate ump. Hannah Forehand, one of the best players to ever wear a North Georgia uniform, was a national champion in 2023. Her name etched all over the UNG softball record books. That's a big plus here for the Nighthawks to have her back this season. Graduated after the 2023 season when they won the national championship. So we still got a 2-1 count back at home plate. And the 2-1, this one's hit into right, takes a bounce in front of Laval Masonette. And Emery and Henry retakes the lead to put a run up here in the top of the third. Now a 2-run ball game here in Dahlonega. Still 1 out up on the board. Now a runner on first for the Wasps, and another quick visit out here into the circle for Badalaman. Don't really see too much action going on in the bullpen for North Georgia. Nighthawks still slated to play another game today, but does look like this is going to be the end of at least this game for Angelina Badalaman. So the Nighthawks will move on to another pitcher here in this one, their second of the game, and we'll have that substitution for you when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. With you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and the new pitcher in the circle here for the Nighthawks is number 51, Chloe Poss, junior out of Thompson, Georgia, and Briarwood Academy. Stepping in the circle here for Badalaman. Chloe Poss, fresh off of probably her best outing of the 2025 season in yesterday's game against Emmanuel. Pitched 5.1 innings against the Lions. Only allowed just 1 hit, no runs. Walked 3 batters, but she struck out 6. Those strikeouts a season high for Poss. She finds herself in a situation with A runner on first, 1 out up on the board. And Emory and Henry has retaken the lead. This first pitch is going to be high from Poss for a ball. Abigail Street up to bat. Had a double on her first plate appearance. Also scored a run while she was on base. Takes a big crack at that one, but misses for strike one. Street, a junior out of Patrick Henry High School in Glade Spring, Virginia. The 1-1 from Poss. Just outside. Poss was on this team last year. Didn't get to see her in the circle. She has a lot of experience with this North Georgia team, as this is going to be fouled. Junior transferring over from Samford before the beginning of the 2024 season. And the 2-2. This one's going to clip the batter, so it's going to put a pair of runners on here for Emory and Henry. That's going to bring Tofano back up to bat, responsible for one of the 3 hits in this game. The 2, 3, and 4 hole hitters in this batting order for Emory and Henry with back-to-back-to-back hits. It's going to be ball 1 from Chloe Poss. That's going to be ball 2. Poss, one of those utility players for the Nighthawks as well. Appeared in 18 games last season. Delivers the 2-0 low for ball 3. Could potentially juice the bases here for the Wasps. Got Johnson on deck. And the 3-0 outside for ball 4. The bases will indeed be loaded here for Emory and Henry. So Roberts coming over to give some encouraging words to Chloe Poss. Liberty Johnson flew out last time she was up to bat. This one's going to be low for another ball from Poss. And the 1-0 inside for strike 1. A sigh of relief there from Chloe Poss as she's able to even up the count at 1-1. The 1-1, this is going to be fouled just over the head of King. So it's going to be a 1-2 count. We saw yesterday in a couple of innings the Nighthawks leaving runners stranded on base for Emory and Henry. Wasps did the same thing, though, to keep the Nighthawks off the board. The 1-2 from Poss. Outside. Poss gets the signal. Delivers the 2-2. This is going to be fouled, so we'll stay right where we are at the 2-2 count. Johnson in yesterday's game went 1 for 3 at the plate. Had a run scored while she got on base. And the 2-2 from Poss and another foul ball. So Johnson will get another crack at it here. Wasps are coming off a pair of wins against Converse and Barton. The final 2 games of the Big Region preseason invitational before coming here to the Gold City. And the 2-2. It's going to be low for ball 3, and it looks like that one clipped the knee of Johnson. And so that's going to be a 3-1 ball game here with Emory and Henry on top, a pair of runs. With the bases loaded yet again. Still just 1 out. Brings up the shortstop, Rachel Hill. Fouls this one. That win for Emory and Henry against North Georgia yesterday, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, for them since joining NCAA Division II. Taking down the number 3 team in the country. Biggest win arguably across all of their athletic teams. And no matter how the season goes for Emory and Henry, there's something that they can always look back on as a big, big achievement for the Wasps. It's now a 2-1 count. We're going to have another meeting in the circle here. Rachel Hill had quite the game yesterday for Emory and Henry as well. Went 2 for 3 with a pair of RBIs and a run scored. So have a quick chat here. Got a busy day on the campus of UNG and all of their athletic teams. Got a packed out day here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill. This is the first of 3 games in day 2 of the Gold City Classic. Emmanuel will take on Emory and Henry following this game, and North Georgia will take on Emmanuel to close out the afternoon. And the 2-1 from Poss upstairs. Over at Lynn Cottrell Arena at the UNG Convocation Center, North Georgia men's and women's basketball in action today for homecoming. This one will be upstairs for ball 4 to plate another runner here for Emory and Henry. Now a 4-1 lead. And Coach Benita is coming back out into the circle. Bases stay juiced, and it looks like the Nighthawks are going to go to another pitcher here just to try to get out of this inning and steer the ship back in the right direction. So Poss will exit, and a new pitcher comes in. We'll have that substitution for you when we come back. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. So the new pitcher in the circle here for the Nighthawks is the freshman out of Commerce, Georgia, Gracie West. We saw her yesterday in both games for the Nighthawks. She finished out that game against Emmanuel, came in for Chloe Poss in that matchup. Didn't pitch a full inning, but that was a run rule victory for the Nighthawks in that game. Pitched just .2 innings, but did have a strikeout to close that game in that win over Emmanuel. And she did come in against Emory and Henry. A lot of pair of hits and 3 runs and walked a batter. So her appearance was short-lived in yesterday's game. With 3 runs put up on the board here by Emory and Henry in the top of the third. Nighthawks just looking for some consistency in the circle. And her first pitch is going to be a ball going to the DH Yates. And the 1-0 from West. Low for ball 2. And the 2-0, this one fouled. This being West's 4th appearance of the season. Pitched 2 innings against Lake Erie last weekend. Delivers the 2-1 and delivers a strike. That game against Lake Erie was the longest she'd been in the circle this season with 2 full innings. And the 2-2 in just outside for ball 3. So a payoff pitch coming up here from Gracie West, and it looks like assistant coach Medina and head coach O'Hare wanting a timeout here to talk things over with Gracie West and a couple of the umpires. Coach O'Hare in her first season with the Nighthawks. Named the 3rd baseball coach or softball coach of this program back in September of last year. Coming over from another Division II school in Mississippi College. The back-to-back Gulf South Conference Coach of the Year. And the winningest head coach in program history with over 530 wins with Mississippi College. Led her team to the NCAA tournament in half of those seasons, 9 of 18 years. Here comes the payoff pitch from West, and it will be ball 4. And so the Wasps just piling on runs here at the plate as these pitchers for North Georgia have been unable to find the inside of the zone. That's what Coach O'Hare was, I think, arguing about on that last time she was out on the field. Thought that could have been strike 3 called on that last at-bat. And the 1-0 from West. A big swing, but a miss is going to even up the count at 1-1. Brings the left fielder, Kylie Cundiff, back up to bat. And the 1-1, this one soars into foul territory. Roberts is there to make the grab for the second out. It looks like she will request a new softball. That's exactly where you wanted that to be placed So even a fly out into left or right field probably would have put another run up on the board for Emery and Henry. But they keep them at bay for right now as West delivers a strike. And the 0-1. Outside, just outside from West. And the 1-1, a big swing there, but a miss is going to make this a 1-2 count. Nighthawks now just one strike away from getting out of this third inning. And the 1-2. This one's going to be fouled behind the press box, so we'll get another crack at it here in a 1-2 count. Did not see Cundiff in yesterday's game against the Nighthawks. The 1-2. This one's going to be low past the knees of Cundiff for ball 2. And the 2-2 and another foul ball. Deuces are running wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here in the top of the third. 2-2 up to bat here for Emery and Henry. West delivers the 2-2. This one's going to be fouled into left field, so the count will stay at 2-2. Correction, Joy back up to bat. Number 22, the catcher for Emery and Henry. And the 2-2. Upstairs for ball 3. And the payoff pitch. This one's fouled. Back really battling here on this at-bat with Gracie West. And the Wasps, who have had good plate discipline here in this game, with the bases loaded, if they're able to land something in the outfield, it would plate probably 2 more runs. And the payoff pitch. Outside for ball 4. Another run up on the board here for the Wasps. This is now a 6-1 ball game. Bases remain loaded. 2 outs remaining on the board. Batting order now flips over to Williams. Got some important pitches coming up here for West. Because following Williams, King, Street, and Tofano, the next 3 batters, the only ones to notch hits here, as this one skies into left. Moody is there to make the grab for out number 3, but Emery and Henry's plate discipline puts them at a 6-1 lead here in Dahlonega. Nighthawks have some work to do when we come back for the home half of the third. We'll step aside for a short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back with you here in Dahlonega, where the batting order flips over for the Nighthawks. Sydney Reeves, the leadoff batter, going to get things going here for the Nighthawks, who have some work to do, down 5 runs. As Reeves will take ball 1. Bases stayed loaded for Emery and Henry for quite some time there in the top of the 3rd. Nighthawks went through a few pitchers as Reeves grounds one into center field and gets to first. Reeves, who has been a little quiet here this weekend, bat is starting to come alive here against Emery and Henry, and that's the last thing that the Wasps want to see, is Reeves getting on base. That's going to bring Jenna Miles up to bat. Takes ball 1. With no outs up on the board, we know the speed that Sydney Reeves has. Good chance she makes a break for it to second. This one is belted into left, and it will drop in left center field. Reeves is going to chug her way to 3rd. Miles makes it to second, and a nice answer here for the Nighthawks to open up the bottom of the 3rd inning, puts a pair of runners in scoring position for Natalie Ray. And with the big bats of this North Georgia team, can never count them out of any contest. Yesterday being a very rare occurrence for the Nighthawks, being shut out at home and defeated by the run rule for the first time since 2007, that both of those things have happened in the same game. That's just a testament to how phenomenal this North Georgia softball program has been over the last almost 20 years at this point. Natalie Ray was responsible for the first RBI in this game. She takes strike 2. But the first run up on the board here for the Nighthawks. And the 1-2, this one's going to be outside for a ball. Ray has been just absolutely phenomenal since she made her North Georgia debut last weekend against Lake Erie. Takes the 2-2, grounds this to first. The out will be made, but the Nighthawks steal a run back as Reeves crosses home plate. It is now a 6-2 ball game here at the Hill. That leaves a runner on 3rd for Carly Knowles as well. Knowles looking for her first hit, grounded out. Last time she was up to bat. Knowles has quickly established herself as one of the best young players in the PBC. Hits one high and deep into left center field. This one will be caught, but the sac fly is going to score another run here for the Nighthawks as Miles slides in safely, and the Nighthawks cut the lead in half. It is now a 6-3 ball game here at the Hill. So the bases are now cleared. And Gracie West stepping up to the plate here for the Nighthawks. West will take a strike on a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup between West and Reeves. This is Gracie West's first appearance up to bat of her collegiate career. All the work she's done this season for the Nighthawks so far has been in the circle. West takes the pitch, and this one is hit to third. Throw to first gets there on time for the out, but the Nighthawks steal back a pair of runs to make this a 6-3 ball game as we head to the fourth. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Calling all business owners, let Business Fernie, a proud partner of UNG Athletics, help you furnish your workspace with office furniture, graphics, wall solutions, and more. Nighthawks finding an early solution here in this game with Gracie West in the circle here for the Nighthawks. Just did a quick plate appearance there up to bat at the end of the third for North Georgia. So the Nighthawks quickly turning the ship around. Still got some work to do, and it's going to bring King up to bat. King sees ball one go past her. King, a 2025 preseason All-SAC first-team selection as a utility player. 2024 All-SAC second-team selection as well. Led the team in doubles last year with 10. Had a double in yesterday's game against the Nighthawks. And the 2-0 will be inside for a strike. And the 2-1 from Gracie. Looks like this one will be outside for ball three. West still looking for her first strikeout. Has walked a couple of batters here in this game. Delivers the 3-1 and delivers ball four. Put a runner on first for Emery and Henry. That's going to bring Abigail Street up to bat. Emery and Henry, the only college in the United States with a wasp as its mascot, not to be confused with a bee or a hornet or a yellow jacket, as we have up here in Atlanta with Georgia Tech. This pitch from West inside for a strike. Street has reached base on both of her plate appearances today. has a hit, and she was hit by pitch on her 2 this afternoon. That one hit was a double. She scored both times she was on base. West delivers the 1-1 and delivers a strike. West gets the signal, delivers the 1-2. This one is hit out into left, gets over the glove of Moody. And so that's going to put a pair of runners now on first and second for Emery and Henry. As Street picks up her second hit of the afternoon. That's going to bring up the third baseman, Tofano. Part of that 2, 3, and 4 hitters for Emery and Henry that have seen the most success against these Nighthawk pitchers today. Street just became the first multi-hit batter in this game for the Wasps. Tofano trying to do the same, takes the 1-0 upstairs. Tofano also walked in her second appearance up to bat. Takes the 2-0 and takes ball 3. Tofano, top 5 in the SAC conference in RBIs this season. Up there with her teammate Abigail Street as well. Finds herself in the top 5. And the 2-1 from Gracie West is going to be inside for a strike. Counts now all evened up at 2-2. And the 2-2, this one is hit out into left that gets over the head of Johnson. It's going to be one run up on the board here for Emery and Henry as they take a 7-3 lead over the number 3 team in the country. This middle of the batting order here for the Wasps has been sensational today. Now back-to-back base hits for Street and Tofano to get us to this 7-3 lead. Pair of runners are in scoring position. And Coach Medina is going to make another trip out to the circle. And it looks like we're going to have another pitching substitution here in Dahlonega. As Coach Medina made the signal to the bullpen. Looks like it's going to be the end of the afternoon for Gracie West. So we'll have that pitching substitution when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back with you here on the Nighthawk Sports Network, and the new pitcher in the circle here for the Hawks is Caroline Connor, number 33, redshirt sophomore out of Social Circle, Georgia. Going to try to weather this storm here from Emery and Henry. Connor yesterday made an appearance against the Wasps, did not pitch a full inning. Very short appearance for her in the circle. Allowed a pair of runs and walked a trio of batters. Last weekend, her and Badalaman combined for that no-hitter shutout win over Lake Erie. So we'll see what Connor can do here in the top of the fourth. It's going to bring the first baseman, Liberty Johnson, up to bat for the first matchup here for Connor. Takes a big swing at that one, but misses for strike one. And the 0-1 from Connor. Sweet looking pitch there for strike two. So we started with Badalaman in the circle, moved on to Chloe Poss, and we saw the freshman Gracie West. And now Caroline Connor. Had a clean sweep of this North Georgia bullpen after the 2024 season. All seniors that graduated. Connor delivers ball one. So a lot of new faces in this bullpen for Coach O'Hare and the Nighthawks. And we have seen some fantastic performances throughout the year from these North Georgia pitchers. Connor delivers the 1-2. Count's going to stay right where it is after that foul ball. Connor's best game of the season coming against Lake Erie last weekend with 2 innings and 4 strikeouts in that combined no-hitter shutout. This being her 7th appearance this season. The 2-2, this is going to be grounded to third. Roberts throws to first to get the out and to keep the runners on second and third here for Emory and Henry. So 5 pitches in, Connor's able to put an out up on the board. Brings the shortstop Hill back up to bat. Hill fouls this one. She has flown out and been walked on her 2 plate appearances today. Had a great game against North Georgia last night with a multi-hit game. As she hits one into left, and that will drop in front of Johnson. Another run's going to be put up on the board here for Emory and Henry. Now 8 runs in this ball game for the Wasps. They had 9 yesterday. They have just been pouring it on all weekend against the Nighthawks. To go up by 5 runs here at the Gold City Classic. That's going to bring the DH, Olivia Yates, back up to bat. Shows bunt. And a runner's going to make it to second here for Emory and Henry. Now a pair in scoring position. Count's going to be 1-0 for Yates, who was walked and struck out on her 2 plate appearances. And the 2-0 from Connor. This one hit up the right field line, and the out will be made at first, but another runner comes home for Emory and Henry. So an out does go up on the board, but not before this becomes a 9-3 ball game here in Dahlonega. So Brumby was able to get the out. She could not make the throw to first on time. This one is hit into center field, and the Wasps put another run up on the board as this one gets past second, as they have surpassed double-digit runs for the first time this weekend. A 7-run lead and a 10-3 ball game. The Wasps have had probably their best performance of the entire season this weekend here against the Nighthawks. This one's going to be upstairs for a ball. And unfortunately, North Georgia just hasn't had too many answers to respond up to bat. This one upstairs for ball 2. UNG played it a pair of runs in the bottom of the third. What was a 3-run ball game. But Emory and Henry, whether it's been their plate discipline or their bats, have not missed on any aspect here this weekend. It's now 7 hits for the Wasps. The 2-1 from Connor gets it inside for strike 2. Got back up to bat. Williams on deck. Deuces are running wild. Here comes the 2-2. This one outside for ball 3. The throw to second is not there on time, and so a runner now in scoring position for back. That one was outside of the zone, too, from Connor, so it's going to be ball 3. Big pitch coming up here. The payoff from Connor. A big swing and a miss for strike 3, but the Wasps go into the home half of the inning with a 7-run lead over the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia. They again have their work cut out for them here against Emory and Henry. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Back with you here in Dahlonega on a cloudy and rainy Saturday afternoon here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. Nighthawks down 7 runs against Emory and Henry, who has been putting up some of the best performances of the entire season against this prolific North Georgia softball team. They're still rolling with Reeves in the circle. Was yet to walk a batter, has 3 strikeouts, as this is going to be hit well into right, and it's going to be caught for the first out here in the bottom of the 4th. Quick plate appearance there from Johnson. Just 34 pitches into this game. Now 35 for Reeves. Brings Brumby back up to bat. This just being her second plate appearance this afternoon. We'll take another one outside of the zone for ball 2. Brumby flew out last time she was up to bat. Takes the 2-0 and takes strike 1. And the 2-1 to Brumby, takes a big crack at that one, but misses. She wanted all of that. The count's going to even up at 2-2. And we know the big bat of Brumby can let it fly. The 2-2, and she does here as this gets to center field, but it's going to be caught by Williams for the second out. So the right fielder, Tegan Laval Masonette, steps up into the batter's box. Does have one of the 4 hits for the Nighthawks. All the hits for North Georgia coming in order on this team. Laval Masonette in the 9-hole, and then the 1-2-3 hitters, Reeves, Miles, and Ray, all with hits in this one as well. And Tegan has been the catalyst for a couple of North Georgia comebacks this season. Grounds this between second and third, and it trickles into right. Laval Masonette's going to get 2 bases out of it as she gets to second standing up. And the 2-out rally stays alive here for the Nighthawks. I'd like to get some runs out of this rally here if you're North Georgia. Brings up Riley Moody, who is the 9-hole hitter in this North Georgia lineup. Looking for her first hit today. Moody grounded out on her first plate appearance. Takes one high, goes past her eyes for ball 2. And the 2-0, this one just fouled up the right field line from Moody. Puts a strike up on the board. Riley Moody played some of her best softball as a Nighthawk during the Peach Belt Conference Tournament last season. Takes the 2-1, hits this into center field as this trickles past the NG. The Nighthawks will put another run up on the board, their 4th of the game. This a 4-10 ball game here at Haynes and Carolyn Hill. But the Nighthawks again keeping this 2-out rally alive. Started with Laval Masonette, and Moody puts another run up on the board. So that brings up Sydney Reeves. Had a hit on her last at-bat. Hits this one deep into left field, and it's going to be caught for out number 3. So the Nighthawks steal a run back to make this a 6-run ball game here at the Hill. Emery and Henry leading this one 10-4 as we head to the 5th. We'll step aside for another commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
At the heart of America's gold rush stands a beacon of leadership, tradition, and excellence. A university that has always led the way, forging an environment for broad-based academics, world-class athletics, and tomorrow's military leaders. The University of North Georgia. Learning and leadership. Passion and preparation. transformation, and tradition. We are the University of North Georgia.
Today's broadcast on the Nighthawk Sports Network is brought to you in part by Coca-Cola, the official sideline partner of North Georgia Athletics. Like we mentioned earlier, plenty of North Georgia athletics happening here on the campus of UNG. Lots of softball here this weekend at the Hill, and North Georgia men's and women's basketball in action over there at Lynn Cottrell Arena. Women's basketball team up first, and they are up big in that game as the out will be made over in left by Johnson, who shifts over to make the grab. That's going to bring Danielle King up to bat. North Georgia women's basketball up 47-21 at the half in their game against USC Beaufort. This one from Connor is going to be low for a ball. King 1 for 2 today. Was also walked and struck out. Takes the 1-0 from Connor and takes a strike. Connor with a fantastic, phenomenal freshman season over there in Charleston, South Carolina. Is back and healthy here as a redshirt sophomore in 2025. In her first season with the Nighthawks. Connor delivers the 1-2 and delivers one high for ball 2. And the 2-2. This one is going to be popped up into foul territory, and it doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to make a play on it. So the count will stay put at 2-2. And the pitch from Connor. This one is hit high and deep into left. Back at the wall. It is over. A solo shot to left field is out of the park. And the first home run here for Emory and Henry in this game comes from King. Now Coach Medina coming back out. And it looks like, just like yesterday, we are going to see Angelina Badalament back in the circle here for the Nighthawks as they have made their way back around yet again here in the bullpen. As they come back to their starting pitcher here in Dahlonega. We will step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. a deja vu from yesterday as Angelina Badalament finds herself back in the circle here for the Nighthawks. We saw the same situation yesterday where Badalament started the game out, went back to the bullpen, and then made her second appearance. Badalament in her first stint today had a pair of strikeouts, walked a batter, allowed 3 hits and 3 runs. This one will be fouled. Street now up to bat. And the 1-1 from Badalament. Inside for strike 2. And here comes the 1-2 and a foul ball. Another one that the Nighthawks won't be able to make a play on, so we will stay put at the 1-2 count. Badalament had an ERA of .86 coming into this weekend, which was second best in the Peach Belt Conference. The 1-2, this one's going to be high for a ball. So after that home run that Caroline Connor had led up, assistant coach Liam Medina had seen enough. The 2-2, this one is hit into center field, and Sydney Reeves is there to make the grab for the second out here in the top of the 5th. Nobody on right now for Emery and Henry after that solo shot over the wall from King. Brings Tofano up to bat, who smokes one into right, but it will be fouled. Count's going to move to 0-1. King, Street, and Tofano all with multiple hits in this one. All 2 for 3 at the plate. Again, like we mentioned, it's those 2, 3, and 4 hole batters for Emery and Henry that have done the most damage this weekend. The 0-1 from Badalament. This one's going to clip Tofano on the foot. So it's going to put a runner on first, still 2 outs up on the board. It has been tough sledding here for some of these Nighthawk pitchers. And it looks like we will have a pinch runner on first. As it looks like Coach for Emery and Henry making his way out there to make a substitution. And it's Grace Harper now pinch running on first base. And that brings Johnson up to bat, the first baseman. Just saw head coach Jake Cockerham for Emery and Henry in his 3rd season with the Wasps. Spent 12 of the last 13 years prior to Emery and Henry at King University. Saw a ton of success there, was a Conference Carolinas Coach of the Year. And he's picked up the biggest win with the Wasps last night against North Georgia. He's threatening to do it again. Badalament delivers the 2-0. This one's going to hit right to Brumby as she makes the grab on her knees for out number 3. Emery and Henry with an 11-4 lead over the Nighthawks as we head to the bottom of the 5th. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Don't
Back with you here on a chilly Saturday afternoon where crowd out here at the Hill braving the weather. People out with their umbrellas and their rain ponchos, watching what has been a dominant performance from Emory and Henry this weekend, as they have now put up 20 runs on the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia. An 11-4 lead. They won last night's game by the run rule, 9-0 over the Nighthawks in 6 innings. So Jenna Miles will start things off here for the Nighthawks in the home half. And Maureen Henry still with Reeves in the circle as she delivers a ball there. Miles has been struck out, and she has a double on her 2 appearances up to bat. This will stay foul, so it's going to be a 1-2 count. Not something that you say often. The Nighthawks are down 7 runs in a ball game. Nighthawks have scored in back-to-back innings, 2 in the third and 1 in the fourth. They scored in the first as well. But it's been not enough to overcome the 5 runs in the third, 4 in the fourth, and 1 in the fifth from the Wasps. And strike 3 called as Reeves picks up the strikeout, her 4th of the game. That brings Natalie Ray up to bat. Takes a strike. And Ray, since she made her Nighthawk debut last weekend, has just been absolutely phenomenal. Has a hit in every single game. Batting .529 on the season. Had a 3-for-4 game against Emmanuel at the plate in the Nighthawks' first game of the Gold City Classic. Part of back-to-back multi-hit games for Natalie Ray, who also went 2 for 3 against West Florida. The 2-1 to Natalie outside for ball 3. And all the teams coming into this weekend had doubleheaders that were canceled on Wednesday due to the weather. As Ray hits this one to short, throw to first, gets it there on time. So a great rebound there from Hill, who bobbled the softball for a minute, able to get it to Johnson just in the nick of time for out number 2. Knowles trying to be the first base runner on here for North Georgia in the bottom of the 5th. As Reeves gets a new softball. Knowles does have a sac fly in this one, but nobody on for the Nighthawks right now. takes a pitch that sinks back inside the zone for strike one. Knowles, a four-time state champion at Westfield High School. Hits one into right foul territory. A couple of Wasps are in the area, and they make the grab for out number 3. This remains an 11-4 ball game as we head to the 6th. Nighthawks unable to steal a run back. We'll see what the outcome is in the top of the 6th when we come back from this short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia Softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network.
Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through.
The whole day, every day, we're thinking about one thing, Georgia's hearts. While you're busy being you, we're working to make Georgia Heart Institute Georgia's #1 heart program. One of only 2 programs in the state offering robotic heart surgery as an alternative to open heart surgery. So whether you live in Atlanta or Athens, in the country or in town, the future of heart care is here for you today. We do it all because Georgia's hearts are always on our minds.
That old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.
Georgia Heart Institute.
Fans, North Georgia has a brand new look, and now you can too thanks to the all-new Nighthawk shop. Visit the UNG bookstore today to get the latest NG branded apparel, souvenirs, gear, and more. Nighthawks with the new NG on their gray jerseys this afternoon. This one will stay fair for Emory and Henry as they put a runner on first. The first pitch that they see here in this inning, they get a base out of it as Hill makes her way to first. Trying to catch the Nighthawks off guard on that first pitch from Badalaman, who has made her way back into the ball game. This one will be popped up, doesn't make it past third as Roberts comes over for the out. So a couple quick plate appearances here from Emory and Henry that have flipped. They got the hit and they got the out. This one's going to be low for a ball from Badalaman. Angelina had a phenomenal weekend last week with 12 strikeouts in just over 12 innings of play. The leader on this North Georgia team in strikeouts this season. 25 coming into today. Chloe Poss second on the team with 17. We've seen both pitchers in today's matchup. The 1-1 from Angelina. This one is hit deep into right field. It will be fouled. But a nice hustle there from Laval Masonette to try to track it down. It's going to be a 1-2 count back at home plate. Badalaman gets a signal, delivers the 1-2, and delivers ball 2. Badalaman with a pair of strikeouts in this game. Now 27 on the season, one of the leaders in the PBC, top 5 in strikeouts this season. Delivers the 2-2. This is going to be grounded and gets past second, and this is going to be 3 bases out of this one, and a run is going to be up on the board here for the Wasps. A 12-4 ball game here at the Hill. And it looks like the umps are going to talk things over here for just a second. A runner on second for Emery and Henry. And an 8-run lead for the Wasps here at the Hill. That's going to bring back up to bat. She does take a strike there from Badalaman. Back in search of her first hit today, has been walked and struck out. Has made it onto base. That will be called ball 1. As Black pulled the bunt back just at the right time. The 1-1 is going to be low for ball 2. And the 2-1 pitch, and another bunt shown there from Back, but it's going to be ball 3. And the 3-1, this one just tipped off the barrel of Back, so the count's going to run full. This is the 7th appearance of the season for Back. Here comes a payoff pitch, and ball 4 from Badalaman. Now a pair of runners on for Emery and Henry. And it looks like we'll have a substitution, probably another pinch runner coming on here for Emery and Henry. And it is Emma Anderson, the junior out of King William, Virginia, now on the base pads here for the Wasps. And Mackenzie Williams is up to bat. This is going to be delivered outside from Badalaman. The 1-0 is going to be outside for ball 2. Emery and Henry, a new team to Division II athletics. Previously competed in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference at the Division III level. We have another foul ball. Coming over from the South Atlantic Conference. And the Wasps, a very fitting nickname for Emery and Henry with the way their fielding has played so far this weekend. This is going to be fouled out of play. They earned that nickname back in 1921 during a football game, where some newspaper writers in Knoxville said that the defense from Emery and Henry looked like wasps swarming all over the ball with their blue and gold striped uniforms. This will stay fair. The out will be made at third to get the lead runner out as Roberts gets back to her territory at third. So runners will stay on first and second. 2 outs, and Danielle King is up to bat. This one just outside from Angelina. Takes ball 2, and King has had one of the best days out of any Wasp. 2 for 3 at the plate with a pair of RBIs and 3 runs scored. Takes the 2-0 from Badalament, and it's just outside for ball 3. Angelina gets the signal, delivers the pitch. That was ball 3, so the count is now 3-1. And the pitch from Badalament right down the middle for strike 2. Badalament fired up after that one. And the payoff pitch. This is just outside of the outstretched glove of Roberts. It's fouled. So we'll have a redo here in the full count. Danielle King playing at first base and in the outfield for the Wasps this season. Another payoff pitch. This one will be ball 4. So the bases are again loaded for Emery and Henry. Tough spot to be in here if you're North Georgia. That's going to bring up Abigail Street here for Emery and Henry. Hits one deep into left. Johnson is there, who makes the diving catch for out number 3 back at the wall. It's a 12-4 ball game heading into the home half of the 6th. Nighthawks have got some work to do here in this game. We'll step aside for another short commercial break. You're watching North Georgia softball on the Nighthawk Sports Network. Our coverage of Nighthawk Athletics is provided by Achasta, nestled in the foothills of the North Georgia Mountains. Achasta Golf Club is a true Dahlonega treasure. In the home half of the 6th, Nighthawks have 8 runs to make up here to keep this game alive. It's going to start out with the pitcher, Angelina Badalaman. It's just her second plate appearance today. Finds herself now in a 2-0 count. Badalaman was struck out on her first plate appearance. Watches ball 3 go past her there from Reeves, the starting pitcher for Emery and Henry, still in the circle. potentially walk her first batter of the afternoon here against Badalaman. Don't think that she'll swing on this next pitch. Takes the 3-0 and takes strike one. With 4 strikeouts in this game. And that will be ball 4, so Badalaman is the first batter that Reeves walks in this ball game. To put a runner on first here for the Nighthawks. It's going to bring Caitlin Johnson up to bat. Johnson due for a hit here against Emery and Henry. Has flown out and struck out on her 2 plate appearances today. Takes ball 1. This one outside for ball 2. It's been a little bit of tough sledding here for the middle of the batting order here for the Nighthawks. After the top 3 in Reeves, Miles, and Ray, and the 8 and 9 hole hitters in Laval, Masonette, and Moody, no other Nighthawk has recorded a hit. The 2-2 is hit too short. Throw to second gets there on time. The throw to first does not, so they do get Badalaman out at second to put the first out up on the board. So Badalaman and Johnson just swapping places over there at first. It's going to bring Mary Seal Brumby back up to bat. Brumby has flown out on her 2 plate appearances. Takes a ball. And this is when having a player like Brumby really comes up clutch here for North Georgia. A player with such high spirits, and with the Nighthawks in a situation like this, down 8 runs late. You got someone with a lot of energy and a lot of positivity like Brumby to still keep the spirits alive here for North Georgia. Brumby takes the 2-0, now becomes a 3-0 count. And the rain may finally be starting to catch up here to Reeves. Not on that one, though, as she delivers her first strike against Brumby. And the 3-1. Again, back-to-back strikes here for Reeves. Big pitch coming up. The payoff. And strike 3 from Reeves, who picks up her 5th strikeout tonight. Puts 2 outs up on the board here in the bottom of the 6th. So we'll see if Laval Masonette can help mount an 8-run comeback here for North Georgia. In the bottom of the 6th, Laval Masonette takes strike 1. Laval Masonette watches ball 1 go past her. She had a hit on her last at-bat. Gonna need another big one here. Takes the 1-1 and takes strike 2. Got Moody on deck for North Georgia. A runner on first. Here comes the 1-2 to Tegan, who hits this into right, and it's going to be caught for the out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. An 8-run lead for Emory and Henry, and that looks like it's going to do it here from the Hill. That is back-to-back run rule wins for Emory and Henry over the number 3 team in the country, North Georgia. The Wasps making a big statement early here in the 2025 season. And what was a historic performance from them last night turns into a historic weekend for Emory and Henry as they put up 21 runs over 2 games against one of the best programs in Division II softball in North Georgia. A 12-4 victory here for the Wasps, and they are rolling here, taking a lot of momentum into their next matchup coming up against Emmanuel, and then North Georgia will round out the weekend with a matchup of their own against the Lions, slated for a 5 o'clock start time. We'll have all those updates for you on social media. Big day for Emory and Henry, multiple multi-hit performances coming from King Street, Tofano, Hills, and Cundiff. A 12-4 victory, your final score here from Haynes and Carolyn Hill Stadium. On behalf of the rest of the NSN team, this is Robert DiClemente signing off. We'll see you around 5 o'clock tonight for North Georgia and Emmanuel.
Blocked by Storr. And the foul on the charge as Cannon takes one for the team. Goodness gracious. Nice job, Dacia. And nice job, Jalea, with the